I wonder if it looks really, really bad. Hey, everyone. Aquaba. Aquaba, my friends, Maydeen Day, Candid Jewel. Join me on my journey as I embrace the culture of Ghana while exploring the globe candidly. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll always know when I upload. So, I just wanted to go live and have a conversation, have a candid conversation. Also, want to welcome all my new subscribers as well. Welcome to the family. You are all my friends. But yeah, I just want to go ahead and talk about what's going on with me in my living situation here in Ghana. It's been crazy, but yeah, I just want to make sure. I hope you guys can hear me. I think you can hear me. Testing. Could somebody just tell me? Can you hear me? Let me check if I can hear myself before I give it to you wrong. Notorious. Tiffany, I want to see if you can hear me. Okay, cool. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about this. So I have officially been in Ghana. Well, not officially yet, but in about 2 weeks, I will be here a year, which I'm so excited. But my living situation has been a mess, a complete mess, right? So let's go ahead and get right into it. So if you have not seen my apartment series for finding an apartment here in Ghana, check out that playlist. It definitely gets crazy. So just gonna tell you a little backstory. So yeah, so I moved here in September, but I moved into my first place in November, right? So I moved into my first place. That one in Adrengano did not work out because after I started moving in my things, after I already paid for things, after I moved into my place in Adrengano and I started paying like the rent, because here you got to pay it a year and ahead of time, I went ahead and started moving my things in. But when I started moving my things in, stuff was just not working, right? My air conditioning was catching fire. The electrical unit, like the power circuit box, was like flashing, like sparking. So I ended up having to move from that place, and getting my money back for that place was an issue. It was a whole issue trying to get my money back. I literally had to call the police to have them come and tell the people that I need my money back, because the caretaker and the owner of that place in the Drangano was trying to tell me that it was my responsibility to go ahead and fix all these things. They wanted me to fix the air conditioning units. They wanted me to fix the electrical issues that were going on. Another thing that happened is like the water lines, the water, what the hell is called? The water hose, the water connection, right, was cut. So like, but I didn't check all these things before I moved in. And in here in Ghana, you have to check everything, which is very annoying. Okay, King. But so yeah, so I ended up having to move to that place, out of that place, because it was like at this point now, like I'm spending money after I've already paid for it for the year. I'm spending money to fix up, to live. And I feel like I should never have to do that. But I've noticed that now you do. You literally have to open everything when you're looking at an apartment or a house, because sometimes when you're looking at a place, what will happen is the agent will basically have you like brush, like not even look at certain things so that you don't catch it, right? So like you'll have to turn on every switch in every room to make sure that light works. You got to turn on water for the water pressure. You got to check air conditioning units to make sure that they actually work. You have to open doors to make sure that nobody's living in another room that you didn't know about. It's just like all these extra things that I've never had to do in the States, which again, I know that I'm not in the States, but I just don't feel like I should. I feel like if I have water issues, I should be able to call the maintenance man and be like, hey, my water's not running. I mean, running. Can you come and fix it? Right? It's not like that here. After you move into a place, it's basically like you're the repairman. If you don't have a caretaker, it's like up to you. So that's why the first place didn't work out, right? So I moved into a second place. So I've been in a couple places. So we're gonna get there, right? So I moved to my second place in Spintex. Again, if you look at my YouTube videos, I show you what I decided to pick. But that place was in Spintex. It was a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment on a compound, right? So a compound means it's like a gated house, right? Or a gated apartment. So, but on my apartment complex, it was just me on the top, and then the bottom had another person on it, right? But I'm on a compound. You have to use like a key to come inside. It's enough space that you can park a couple cars out there. Well, the caretaker was also lived on the compound. He had his own little compounded area, and he basically lived there. So he was like the caretaker. If I had any issues, I would call him, and he would take care of it for me, right? So y'all stay with me, okay? If you have any questions, let me know. So after I finally moved into that place, I really wasn't where I wanted to be at, but I was like so pressed on time trying to find something, because the first place, had its issues. I was kind of like, settling for things I didn't want to settle for. Example, I had to settle for Spintex. I wasn't trying to be in Spintex, but I was, pressed. So literally like the second night, right? Second night, I'm there with my boo. We on the porch, and no. Let me back up. The second day that I had already moved in, I went into my place, right? And again, I'm upstairs. So you have to use the key to the compound to go into the compounded area, right? To go to the apartment. So I went up the stairs, and literally it was like a window. Let me just show you this. It's like a window that's like this one here, right? But here in Ghana, a lot of the windows have bars in between the screen and the window, right? So it'd be like the window, bars, and then the screen, right? You know what I mean, right? So I came home one day, and I went to go like get into my place, and all of a sudden I realized like the window was open, but like open, like the window was pushed back, everything was pushed back, so you could literally put your hand through it. But I'm just moving in, so I didn't have anything in the living room. But I'm like, well, who would do that? Because I didn't do it, and I would have left my window open because of like bugs and stuff. So my boo that was with me was like, well, let's talk to the caretaker, because again, nobody can come into this place unless you're let in and you have a key. At this time, it was only me on the top. There was nobody on the bottom yet. So I asked the caretaker, like, this is what happened. Like, was it you? And he was like, no, it wasn't me. So he was like, it must be the agent for the bottom. Like, they must have come around to like show the bottom unit. But I told him that the top was taken. So I'm like, well, that doesn't make very much sense. Like, you should know who was in here. If they were here looking at the place, then you should know this, right? And why would they come upstairs if they know it's taken, right? So he calls him, right? My boo was like, you know what? Go ahead and call him just to verify that it was him, right? Because we want to make sure, if you're saying it was the other agent, go ahead, we'll make sure. So they called the other agent. The agent was like, no, it wasn't me. So at that point, I'm on edge, because like, okay, if it wasn't you, then who was it? Because it was none of us, and then he's kind of like alarmed, like, I'm so sorry, trying to apologize, because he knows that the gate shouldn't be open, right? That's the whole benefit of, that place, because you literally it's secure, All right, so that happened, right? That same exact night, me and my boo are outside, we smoking, we chilling, and you're on the top, so you can see like the neighborhood road, right? You see people just chilling or whatever. All of a sudden, you hear somebody say, "Thief, thief, thief, thief." Now, I don't really know. I know now she was saying thief, but she wasn't saying thief. She was saying it in her, native language. So I'm like, well, what is this girl yelling about? And then he telling me like she yelling thief. They must have just called a thief. I'm like, what? So all of a sudden you see a motorbike, like a little motorcycle, like go straight down the street. And we like, okay, so what's going on? So he goes out there, right? He goes out there to go see what's going on. So then now he's coming back to tell me what's going on, right? But as soon as she calls thief, everybody in the neighborhood is coming at their house. Everybody and their mom is coming at their house trying to run down to go, I guess, catch this thief. Because what happened was there was a guy on a motorcycle that was driving, and there was somebody behind him, right? Like writing. The guy that was behind him jumped off of the motorcycle and tried to grab the girl's phone. It was a girl that had a phone. So they tussle or whatever. And I guess when she's calling thief, everybody's coming out of the house and they catch him, right? So my boo, he gets down there and he sees that there's one guy in the middle and there's like everybody around him. And the guy in the middle, who was the thief, had like a stone in his hand and was trying to like, protect himself because everybody was trying to catch him. So my boo, he came over there like, trying to save somebody, and he basically disarmed him, right? Well, as soon as like he was like not able to have that stone in his hand, everybody jumped on him. Okay. Everybody jumped on this man in that neighborhood. I swear. It was literally like 15 guys and girls all like throwing things at this man, beating his ass. So now again, I'm not down there. I could just see like what's going on down there. And I'm sitting there on my thing trying to figure out like what's going on. But you see like everybody is out of their house that's not down there. So all of a sudden you see this mob of kids with this one guy that they're dragging, right? Ear is like cut, got like his eye look messed up. He limping. People are like cheering and throwing things at him. They're yelling thief, right? I guess to announce to everybody that they captured a thief, right? So I'm asking my boo, well, like, where they taking him? Like he looks hurt, like y'all take him to the doctor. He was like, no, they're taking him to the police station. If anything, what will happen is he won't even make it to the police station, because as soon as like people in Ghana hear thief, they get on alert, right? They get on alert and want to go into protective mode, right? They don't care, what the story was. They just know that you are a thief, right? So he was like, somebody might even hit him with the car and might not even make it to the police station. I'm like, well, damn, y'all not gonna call the police? And he was like, no, because sometimes what will happen is they'll go to the police station and they'll pay some money and then they'll get out and then they can go ahead and do it all over again. So it's like, the community feels like, we're going to go ahead and take care of it, because it might not really get taken care of or be as serious when they get to the jail. So yeah, so that's what happened to me, right? So that's what happened to me at my apartment. So those are two things that happened. So after I done witnessed, somebody coming up to my place and I don't even know who it is, I was on alert. And then that same night, I done witnessed, a whole crime happened in front of me, with a robber and all that stuff. So I'm like, well, what the hell? So I was like, you know what? I need to get a dog. Okay. So that is what is prompting all of this. So I'm like, okay, to make me feel more comfortable, being a woman in a new country, people are, curious and want to know about me, and they, all these different things. So I was like, you know what, let me go ahead and get a dog and feel comfortable. So I decided to get a South African Boer Bull. Her name is Layla B, which means love in Ewe. Okay, I had to get her a Ghanaian name. So, but she is a South African Boer Bull, which is like a guard dog. Like their breed is very like protective, right? She's really big and she a puppy. She really big, but so she looks kind of intimidating as well, but whatever. So yes, I ended up getting her right when she was born, like right after she was able to like come home. I got her. So like as soon as I moved in, like literally within those 2 weeks, I got my dog. So my landlady, I didn't tell her I was getting a dog. Okay. I wasn't telling her I was getting a dog, but after a while she knew, because they were doing construction on my compound. She would be around, right? She would be around to come and like micromanage the construction workers, which didn't really bother me. Whenever I saw her, I spoke, but she knew I had a dog. So after like 2 months of me living there, she was like, I need you to make sure you're cleaning up after your dog, right? Which I was. What she didn't like me doing was that I had fake grass, because again, in the compound, there's no grass there. It's literally like just concrete. And in the States, we have grass, there's grass everywhere. So whenever I would take her to the bathroom, there would be nowhere for her to go to the bathroom. So I had to get fake grass, like literally fake grass. And I put it at the back of the compound. So I would take her down there, train her, go in that spot. I would open the gate and open the door and let her go downstairs, go do her business, come back upstairs. And then I'll go pick it up, to make sure she ain't gonna go in the house. So she was like, I don't really like that you're doing that. It doesn't look nice. And I'm like, man, well, what do you want me to do? Because at this point now, like there's no grass here, So she was telling me that she thought it was more appropriate for my dog to go in the kitchen. And I'm like, in whose house? Because that's not what we do in the States. Our dogs are not trained to go to the bathroom in the kitchen. They go to the bathroom outside in the grass, And I'm telling her like, I understand, it doesn't fit your aesthetic, but what do you really want me to do? And that was her suggestion. And I wasn't doing that, right? So that was after 2 months of being there. So now, let me see, June. So I moved into that place in November. So in June, right? So November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June. 8 months after, right? 8 months after I done already moved in and had this dog, she comes to me 6 months later talking about you have 2 days to remove your animal from this establishment or I'm calling the police. Now she didn't tell me that. Okay. Well, she wrote a letter. She wrote a letter. She gave it to my boo, and my boo gave it to me, right? But she also verbally told him that has until Sunday to get rid of the dog, or she gonna call the police. And I'm telling him to tell her to call the police because there's nowhere in my lease that says I can't have a dog. My dog has been here for about 8 months, right? So why is it a problem now? She again thinks that she thought that I had trained my dog to go to the bathroom in the kitchen. I don't even understand where she got that logic, because after she told me about the whole bathroom thing, I knew I wasn't doing that. So my dog kept going to the bathroom where she had been going to the bathroom. So I was like, you know what? Let the police come. Me and the police gonna have a conversation, because ain't nothing in this lease says I can't have a dog. And then how else do you expect me to, care for my dog, to relieve herself? So we went ahead and skipped that. So literally, that was in June, right? Follow me. We are in September now, right? So after about like a week, no police come. She'll never call me and ask me about the dog or nothing like that. So I keep going about my business. In the kitchen, do you really mean she said that? Yes, James. My landlady told me to train my dog to go to the bathroom in my kitchen. We're not doing that. You know what I mean? Like, we're not doing that. And I don't want to be that like person, but like, ma'am, you have no grass in your compound. What do you want me to do? Like, I did what I thought was necessary. But James, it gets better. Okay, so the police never came, right? The police never showed up or whatever. So at that point now, she just kind of goes quiet. She ends up traveling back to where she's from. She lives outside of Ghana. And she calls me from there after about 2 weeks later talking about why is your dog still there? And I'm like, ma'am, my dog's not going anywhere. If my dog goes somewhere, I'm going somewhere, because my dog's not about to leave and not me leave, right? So she was telling me, well, you can go ahead and move. And I said, no problem. I said, I need the rest of my money that I paid you, because I paid you for a year, right? And at that time, it's been 6 months that I have been there. So I was like, well, go ahead and run me back the additional 6 months and I'll be out of here, right? She says, okay, no problem. Why didn't you walk the dog? Of course I walk the dog, but in the middle of the night, if my dog wants to go to the bathroom, the dog's going to go down the compound. I'm not about to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning to go walk a dog. Like, we wasn't doing that either. I did what I need to do to keep it clean and all that stuff. It really wasn't, it was just her. That's really what it is, Tilly. It was her. Okay. You just got to understand. It was her. So she basically told me I could leave and she was going to give me my money. Right. So I decided to go ahead and finish up June. July, I came back to the States for a little bit. And in that time before me leaving to go on my trip to the States, I had set up an arrangement so that July, when I got back, I would be like moving into my new place, right? Moving out of the old place, moving to the new place. So the person that I decided to move in with at this new place, right, is in East Legon. The East Legon place is a boys' quarters of a house. So basically, like, the owner bought all this land and she built a apartment complex. She built her family house. She has like a little bar. And then she also has like 2 outhouses, which are called boys' quarters here, which are like smaller houses. So like, I'm in one of the boys' quarters, which is in a compound. Again, it's like my boys' quarters is compounded. So for you to come through to my house, you have to use a gate key, right? But you also have to walk through like the main houses, compound to come to my place, right? I thought it was good because it was very private. I had my privacy. My dog, she has a place to like roam around. If she went to the bathroom, I could go ahead and clean it up. You know what I mean? Like, we had our own little space. So I told the lady, I was like, hey, I have a dog. Is that going to be a problem? And she was like, no problem. I was like, are you sure? And I wanted to make sure that she knew, like, I had a dog. I don't want no surprises later. I'm coming with this big old dog. I want to let her know, like, it's going to be a problem. She's like, no, my sister, we have all this space for you. And I did, because it was literally like a nice space for my dog to like roam around and have her privacy. So that was situated. So I knew when I came back from the States, I was be moving in there, right? So now I'm moving out of my place in Spintex, and I call the landlady and say, hey, I'm ready to go. Need the rest of my money because I need to go ahead and, start moving, whatever. She like, oh no, you don't need to move. I didn't really mean it. I'm like, ma'am, you done threatened me with the police and you told me I had to go. So now you're trying to tell me that you don't want me to move? I'm like, no, we're not doing it. I'm like, because at this point now, I found a better place. You know what I mean? It's in a better location I wanted to be in. I have my privacy. Like, I'm like, ma'am, go ahead and run with my money. We not doing that either. So yeah. So I'm like, it's okay. I just need to go, right? So now she's telling me she don't have my money. She don't have my money to give me for the remainder of my lease. So I'm like, okay, what are we gonna do? Because you're telling me to leave. You was talking all that big stuff, you know what I mean? And you don't have my money. Exactly, John. They run me my money. Like, you're not about to kick me out and think that I'm just about to walk away. So she was like, well, go ahead and just move into your place. As soon as we find somebody to take over, the lease, we'll give you back your money. And I'm like, do I really trust you though? Do I really trust you? Because who's to say that I go ahead and move out of your place and I move into this new place, right? And then you go missing and I don't get my money back. Because it's definitely possible. Because at this point, you're breaking your own contract and you're telling me to go. But now you're changing up the story, telling me to stay. And she told me to stay because she ain't had the money. That's really what it was. She thought that I was gonna go ahead and beg or plead or train my dog to go to the bathroom in the kitchen. I don't even know what she thought, but I know I needed my money back, right? So this is what I ended up doing because she said that she didn't have my money. So what I did was I went ahead and cleaned it all up really nice. I didn't want her to try to say nothing about no money, right? So I cleaned it up really, really nicely. And I gave only one of my keys, like of the house keys, to the caretaker, right? So I gave him one key to the door because he basically needed the keys to be able to show people the place. But I also kept the compound key door because at this point now you need the keys, right? You need the keys for the place. So I have more control because I have the keys. Okay. So I went ahead and I moved out, moved into my new place. Y'all, after the second day of me moving into this new place, the landlady is coming to me, calling me, telling me that my dog should be in a cage or be put on a leash. And I'm like, for what? Why? Why? I don't get upset thinking about it because it's like, I done already told you I had a dog. You already agreed to this, right? But now she feels like it's not safe for my dog to be in the compound without being in a cage or on a leash, because if she were to get out of the gate, she could attack somebody. And I'm like, yes, you're right. My dog can attack somebody, okay? But there's no reason, or there will be no reason for my dog to get out of the gate. Like, my dog is not going to just be walking out the gate. My dog knows, you know what I mean? My dog is trained enough to know now what's up. She's like, no, it's not safe. I don't feel comfortable. I'm like, ma'am, had you said any of this before I even moved into this place, I would be renegotiating our contract, because I don't want to, again, y'all got to think about it. The reason why I got a dog was for safety, right? Because I didn't feel comfortable. Now I done got this dog. We done been holding each other down for about 8 months now. You know what I mean? And you're wanting me to have my dog as like a guard. I mean, like a guard dog. Like, my dog is a guard dog, but like treat it like a outside guard dog. Because a lot of their dogs that they have here are guard dogs. They're in a cage. They're not even like in and out of the house like my dog is, But it's my baby. It's my pet,